I think I've never been this angry in my whole life.
But the ultimate way to really heal from a relationship is to forgive. Because to your peace, it really is too expensive, and that's really true.
I'd rather have them happy than me.
And this is what has to change.
Yeah, that's the way to deal with heartbreak.
That's the way to deal with heartbreak.
Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I'm super excited about this one because we are talking about relationships, heartbreak, love, and all those things. I'm back with Louisa and let's talk about it.
Definitely.
I'm super excited because you were just telling me before that heartbreak can actually really affect like how you feel your actual cells.
It really affects the body, and it's known that there is a particular disease of the heart that's called takotsubo. It's a very difficult word, but it actually is a heart attack that you get when you are experiencing severe pains or severe, and I mean like emotional pain. So when you're going through a heartbreak, that's why they call it the heartbreak syndrome. You can actually get a heart attack.
And it's so crazy because when you go through a heartbreak, you actually feel your heart in pain. Like you feel it in the area of your heart.
It's like you feel pain there. It's physical pain. It really feels like your heart is shattering into pieces. Right? That it's literally breaking.
Yeah, and
That's
then
how
you
much it
can
hurts.
lose your appetite and everything. I didn't eat for a week straight.
Yeah.
Like nothing. How weird is that? That your body doesn't want to eat.
When you go into survival mode.
Why?
Right? Because you are in that...
To survive your heart?
To survive your heart. Well, that one's already broken. No, but you literally go into survival mode because you're dealing with such pain that you're like, hey, let me survive my heart. It's the same as grief, right? You go through grief. When you think something is normal and all of a sudden the guy or the girl that you were with is not longer there. And you go through grief, and grief has different stages. It's first, you deny it, right? You're like, it's not true. You think, oh, we can still be friends, or maybe we can still make it work.
I denied a few months.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think many of us deny for a longer time.
Because I knew it, but then I just didn't believe it at some level or something. It was so weird.
Yeah, and that's typical for after heartbreak. It's like, it doesn't, you're almost like, this can't be true. Again, it's almost like somebody dies, really. It's because grief is just the process of when you think something is normal and all of a sudden it's gone. That's grief, right?
That's so weird that you say it because I always told people that that was how I felt, like I couldn't believe certain things, and I knew it, but I just didn't believe it or something.
It's almost like it doesn't dawn on you, right?
And then nobody understood, and now you're saying that that's how everyone actually naturally responds to it.
Very
interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Interesting thing is that when you go through this, it's the normal stages in psychology that we go through as human beings when we are in grief, when we are grieving. And the second stage is anger, frustration.
Ooh, I got that one too.
I think we've all...
I think I've never been this angry in my whole life. I didn't even know like that I could feel this anger to a person.
Just see it in your face.
I'm always the one trying to understand everyone and like have empathy, and I just was so angry. But that's also normal after.
That's also super normal. And then after the anger comes sadness. It's okay to feel anger. I think...
But I don't want to feel anger because it's not a good, positive feeling.
No, but sometimes it helps when you feel angry and you really feel it and to let it out. Because that's what happens, right? We have this feeling of anger or frustration, it comes up and we go, no, I'm not supposed to feel this, so we push it back down.
Oh, that's why it stays.
And that's why it stays. What do? Scream, find a pillow, make karate moves. As children, you go, Wah! I mean, I live next to a school. These children, they scream, they yell, they roar, they do everything. And then we become adults and all of a sudden we're like, let's just keep talking. Yeah, that's fine, but sometimes you need to out that. And I believe that when you let it out, it helps because it cleans the system. It's almost like you're flushing it. And then you don't have to be angry at somebody, because what happens often is you're angry in your system, but you don't let it out because you're not hitting a pillow, you're not screaming. It's almost like you have a volleyball or like this, you know, these beach balls that are floated with air, and you try to push them underwater. And you keep pushing them underwater, pushing water, and they try to come up, and you go, this costs a shit ton of energy.
Yeah.
It costs so much energy to just repress these feelings. What you should do is just do this, and the ball will come up. Okay, it may not be beautiful.
So you have to go through feelings to actually release them. Basically.
Exactly. The only way out is through. The thing here with this is because what you resist persists.
Yeah.
Emotions are there just to be felt. There's nothing wrong with an emotion. It's just like a thought, right? When we say, oh, mindfulness or control your thoughts or choose your thoughts, all these things that we'll be talking about even more as well. That is logical, but it's the same with emotions. When you feel them, make them come up, they just want to be felt.
It's so weird also, right? You have the feelings and they need to be felt, and if you suppress them, they keep being there until you feel them.
And they cause disease finally. Your issues are in your tissues. They really are. The other emotion is sadness. I don't mean sadness like I'm sad all the time. That's not necessarily
just to feel pain.
Feel pain, feel sadness, because whenever there is a feeling of sadness in your body, it's almost like a block of ice and it's stuck there. And it can sometimes be in your gut, or you got this, like this knot in your stomach, or it's just somewhere else and you don't really know it's there. But it's a block, and it's ice, and it's dense, and it's hard. And then it melts. And when it melts, they become tears. Because it literally becomes water. And then the beauty of that is the water eventually evaporates in the air, so it becomes gas, and it leaves you. So tears wash away. They literally clean. And it's so important to cry. I mean, I'm not saying cry and then keep crying. I'm saying cry. When you feel it, don't reinforce the drama, but cry. You can eventually only feel emotions for 90 seconds. If you really want to feel an emotion, you feel it for 90 seconds until you start to reinforce the story and you go, he's such an asshole, and then you get angry again, right? Try being angry, really angry, and just let it out for 90 seconds, you'll release it. That's really how it works.
I always feel the need to cry very quickly, but I always don't want to, so I keep holding it in.
Yeah, you hold it in, yeah.
And when you talk about it and cry, then it
helps.
It gives peace of mind a little bit.
Because otherwise, this emotion will come up again, and it will be like, it's still there, your mind will go, like subconsciously you'll go, no, I cannot cry right now, no, I cannot cry. So you just bog it down again, like you keep pressing this volleyball underwater. Maybe you'd like to share how heartbreak has been, I know you've experienced it, but maybe you'd like to share something about it.
It's just painful as fuck.
Thank you. Painful as fuck. No, really, it's what it is.
Yeah,
it really is what it is.
I definitely went through that phase that you just said, that you deny things, and now looking back I understand, or I see it, but in the moment I knew I said it to my friends, but I just was like, couldn't believe things, and that was so weird.
Yeah,
so weird. I'm the whole time trying to do other things to not feel this anger anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just like looking for tools that are helping, but it kind of stays.
Yes. Something that really helps when you want to overcome these kind of things is literally writing a letter. It can be hate mail, that's fine, just don't send it. Well, the thing is that you want to go to the next stage, right? After denial, there's anger, then sadness may come because it softens you, literally. But the ultimate way to really heal from a relationship is to forgive.
Yeah, but I cannot.
Exactly.
Like I want to, but I cannot.
And why can you not forgive? This is really, I think, a super interesting question, because often at times people say you just have to forgive.
I can't forgive.
No, because you've not dealt with the anger yet. I think this is always a very good question when you've gotten hurt in a relationship.
And it's just scary because you don't want to open up to other people when you just got hurt, because your heart is gonna hurt again and you don't want that, so you kind of protect.
Yeah, and that's the next phase.
But then you also want to love completely, so you don't want to hold back, and it's like,
yeah, I think many women experience this. When we love somebody so deeply, we tend to think, oh, whatever is good for them, right? Or we start to understand them, even when it's an unhealthy relationship.
I always try to understand it.
Yeah.
And it's actually also not so good, because you make excuses for behavior that is not acceptable.
Exactly. When you're a very empathetic person, you empathize with people. You go, hey, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. You feel with them. You try to understand them. And you try to think, oh, you know, he doesn't mean it like that. But you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And that's not how it's supposed to feel.
No.
Love is not supposed to hurt. It can be tough. Yes, it can be a challenge. Yes, not just like, oh, found the right man, never doing anything again, the rest of my life, peace out, bye. No, that's, you know, that's a process, obviously, between two people. But the thing is, when you have the whole part of that it hurts so much, that you feel neglected, that you feel not being seen, that you feel like you're needy or too much, that's not okay. That's not okay in a relationship under any circumstance. When you're an empathetic person, you tend to do this. You tend to understand everything at the cost of yourself. But again, if it costs you yourself, if it costs you your peace, it really is too expensive, and that's really true. This is the beautiful question that's going to help in forgiveness, and that is really, why did this person come into my life? What did he or she come to teach me? Would you have the knowledge that you have right now about yourself, about life, about everything?
That I should love myself first before I get into a relationship.
Amen.
That's also the thing. I knew it before. Like, I knew everyone said it, and I knew also that it was true. And I thought that it all went well. And I thought it was not the situation. But looking back...
situation.
But looking back on it, I know that I should have loved myself better, because I wouldn't go through all this.
And the thing is, it's inevitable, right? We choose these people into our lives. That's the whole joke of life. We choose our people, we choose our lessons, and we decide that they have to come into our life subconsciously, universe, all that.
It's just your boundaries.
I mean, there's two ways we learn, through pain and pleasure. And sometimes we gotta learn through pain. It sucks, but it's the ones that stick with us. And that's where the beautiful healing happens. That's when we start to learn things about ourselves that we didn't know. That's when, especially in relationships, we go, all right, so this was not a way that I want to be treated for the rest of my life. I want to be able to say no in relationships. I want to not completely feel that I'm fluid under the door. Then you also come to a point, and this is why this is beautiful healing, and this is why, you know, so many of us go through these kind of things, because when you've gone through this, you come to a point where you go, hey, me with me is okay. Then when you go into a relationship, you just go, all right, you're a nice add-on, right?
Like, if you see the lesson, you can have peace with it, because you're not like thinking, why did it happen to me, but what did I learn from it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then it's so much easier to go through life if you think about all this all the time. Otherwise you keep struggling the whole time and keep being angry.
When you really want to heal, and that is something that you're actively pursuing, it's going to be first to really give it time. It's like a little wound, right? Not a little wound, it's a freaking like wound. It hurts like hell. When you have a wound, you're not gonna scratch it open all the time, right? And what happens often is that we expose ourselves again to this particular person. You may have a call, or you know, they phone you, they give you hope, or give you the idea that all is well, but the thing with this is that it actually opens the wound a little bit again. So you gotta really, because what do you do with the wound?
Let it heal.
Let it heal. And this heart needs to heal. So don't expect your heart, when it's crushed and burned like this, to all of a sudden then go, oh, you know what? How about I'm gonna find another person and I'm gonna find another love, when you've already barely healed this. There's a beautiful mantra, which is called the Ho'oponopono, which is an ancient Hawaiian mantra. I recommend this to every woman I meet going through heartbreak, to just go on a continuous affirmation of these 4 little sentences. And they are, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
To yourself.
To yourself and to the person.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you, I love you. When we say to ourselves, I'm sorry, you say sorry to yourself for having yourself be treated that way, because it hurt. And say, I'm sorry that I didn't protect you, right? I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you. Please forgive me is also to yourself, and also to the other person, and also that I will forgive you. And then say, thank you, I love you. And these 4, if only, and there are beautiful ones on YouTube where you can just listen to this mantra and listen to it, listen to it, listen to it.
That's also a tip. A lot of affirmations are on YouTube. Just to listen to them. Absolutely. If you feel bad, that helps so much.
It helps a lot. Absolutely. Now, for the second one, then you're gonna go, okay, we have to make sure that that never happens, right? So you're almost building little walls around your heart.
I'm definitely protecting my heart more.
Yeah, of course, that makes a lot of sense, but it's not gonna be the way to open up to love again, because it's called opening up to love, and you want to.
Fully love, because then you feel much more.
And it comes from loving yourself fully first.
Sure.
That's the first one. It's the first thing. It's the most important thing. So then opening up again, how's that for you now?
I didn't open up yet to anyone actually. Yeah, I don't know how it will go if I would meet someone that I want to open up to. I will just jump in the hole and see how it goes.
Eventually we can all say we want to trust this other person, but it all comes down to trusting yourself. If you don't trust, for instance, when you say I want to go to the gym and he says don't go to the gym because then I don't like you anymore, sort of, then you gotta trust yourself that you will do what feels good to you. Because
but it's so hard.
I know, sweetie, it is
for
the
me.
hardest thing. Well, I mean, for so many of us.
I want to make them happy. I'd rather have them happy than me.
And this is what has to change. It has to come from a place where you take tremendous care of yourself. When you're opening up to love again, you gotta be vulnerable again. And that's the thing where you're like, you teach you like, fuck. The most important thing with this is to have fun with it. Because ultimately the heart wants to play. It wants to be like a child. A heart open wide, that is not afraid. It's our mind that is afraid. Our mind says, don't do this again. You will get hurt again. This shit really hurt. And there's a time where the heart needs to heal. So give that time. But then all there's left is the mind telling you that you shouldn't go back there. And then it's going to be heart over mind. You're just going to talk to yourself again, like a child. And you go like, okay, I know that you find this a little bit scary. It's a first date after so long. I know it's a little bit scary. I'm here with you.
But it's just fun and exciting.
But it's fun and exciting, and let's have fun with it.
Maybe it's just super interesting conversation.
Exactly. You see a pattern, you know that you've healed.
I only see patterns.
Yeah, well that's beautiful, because then you know you're healing. When you see patterns all of a sudden, you go, this is what I do. Oh, this is the type of man I attract.
The ones that I end up with, they just come up to me. Like, I didn't choose them.
Subconsciously you may have chosen them, because subconsciously they may reflect something in you that feels maybe not good enough or not worthy, and they will reflect to you that part of you. And that's why the question is so important. Why did this person come into my life? What is it in me?
That's the way to deal with heartbreak.
That's the way to deal with heartbreak. To say, what is it in me that showed this part, that confirmed something that I believe about myself. If I believe about myself that I'm not worthy, deep down, it may not even be conscious, but that's why you can have such a relationship that it becomes conscious. And then all of a sudden you see it reflected, and you see all these men, right, that may be emotionally unavailable or that may not treat you well. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, so this is a part of me that just is reflected in these relationships.
So you can start to forgive, because you also know that it's also part of you that got you in it.
Say that there's this very important question that you can ask yourself: why did this person come into my life? And then you'll start to have answers for these things and really think, okay, this is why they came into my life, and really make a list of all the good and all the bad.
That's also ways that I try to forgive. Just like meditations for forgiveness and like writings and everything.
But the thing is that it's not a fixed point, right? Where you go like, I'm done, I have forgiven, all is well. It's gradual, right? And at a certain point you'll get there. You know, we may not even have to forgive, right? We may just have to think we can appreciate the things that were there and be very grateful for these moments that were fun and that were nice and light. If it's been shit or if it's been good, just thank them. Really.
For the lesson or for the fun.
Exactly. Brilliant.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked and learned something from this episode. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I hope you liked it, and I definitely learned a lot. Thank you for that, Louisa.
My pleasure. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.